Keep spawning culture. Hey guys, I wonder if you guys can hear me. I'm having a little bit of trouble getting my mic exactly where I need it. This is all a temporary setup. So let me know if you can't hear me. What's going on? Mycologeum was here at 3:32. You can hear me, awesome. Okay. As long as it's not bad. Everything is hectic and poorly thrown together. And in fact, I'm hearing an echo. What about now? Can you hear me now? I think I may have actually muted myself. Did that mute me or just my monitors? Well, I hope you guys are doing all right today. I'm Andrew Reed with Mossy Creek Mushrooms and the MushRune Cast. Over there where you can't see her is Samantha. So awesome, cool. We're going to play around with a bunch of stuff. There she is. There she is. You'll probably see her walking back and forth. She's doing orders. Today is ordering day, so it is our big, busy day. I'm planning on being on here for about an hour. And so going forward, my plan is to bring the MushRune Cast back and make it a part of my business day. So the big thing that I'm thinking right now and toying with the idea of is doing this 5 days a week. So just kind of in my day, good plan. Just doing a hour, something like that, roughly 5 days a week. So it means that you all would actually get an increased amount of meat. And that way we can do days that we're focused on something. Of course, I want to bring Samantha back as well. We're going to get the studio in here set up to where it's a lot more the way I want it. Like I'm sitting here looking at the monitor in the background and certain things that I like, certain things I don't like. And I like, what is it, right there? That is our keep spawning culture sign. But I don't have everything set up lighting wise to where it's anything other than just a bright white light. So we'll get all that stuff figured out. But what I'm thinking is 5 days a week, it gives you guys more access to me, more chances for me to be in here with the community producing content. And then it allows me to do succinct videos. So we can do topical videos like, you know, I can do an agar to agar transfers video once a week or so, and we can get that to where I can then cut it out and it will release as a video, but you guys get to see it first live, that kind of thing. And there's some other educational stuff I want to play around with. So tools that we've got that we want to play with. So I'm thinking 5 days a week is going to be the best way to go, even though it'll be a reduced amount of time. But you guys will always have access to me at that point. You can't spare 5 hours a week. That's okay. You don't have to do all of them, for sure. Uh, Afternoon from the USVI, the Mycelium. Oh yeah, hey Eric, I can test warm weather strains. That sounds good. I've definitely got a lot of warm weather strains coming up. Hello from Southwest Florida. Hello from East Tennessee. And good plan, huh? 5 days a week. Adrian, my health is doing really good. So other than I've had a cold this past week, um, but other than the cold, like even well, speaking of, there's a little cough, but even with all that stuff going on, I'll be back to lifting weights this evening. I hurt my heel a few weeks ago and the Achilles tendon, so I've been waiting for that. I've been swimming every workout day, so I'll either be swimming or lifting weights this evening. But other than that, like my health is good. I'm back to being fairly normal. So uh, it's actually it's it is actually really good to hear. I appreciate that. Excuse me. Hello, all from Badger County Canyon Mushrooms in Washington State. Hello again, Andrew. Hey, Chris. Badger Canyon. That's a good name. Yeah, they. Um, Washington is like the most expensive state. I can ship to Alaska or Hawaii cheaper than I can ship to you for some reason. Do you still plan on having guests on your podcast, Kit? Yes, absolutely. I'm still thinking. I don't know how this is going to work. So we've got a couple of things I've got to figure out. If I'm wanting to do it 5 days a week, honestly, I can't do a guest a day. Now, what I can do and would like to do is to attract like a community of other growers, um, people that are in the industry, kind of get them popped up on here with us, do group lives. Um, like it's pretty normal on YouTube these days. I see a lot of gamers and stuff doing it, but I would love to be able to do that to where we have not just every day, of course, but have kind of a recurring group that kind of swap in and out, and we'll see what other mushroom YouTubers I might be able to attract for that. I think I just saw that Gary from Fresh from the Farm Fungi reached out and asked to do it. The timing's weird, but I always figure Ed Grand is always down for that kind of stuff. Um, so, anyways, what we'll do is just try to make it a mix of people, and then we'll have like professional guests. Like I want to try to have professors, and I want to have the Fascinated by Fungi back on. Eugenia Bone was supposed to be a guest when I got sick. So just that kind of stuff. I want to get guests on, but I don't want it to be a daily thing. The daily thing will be more here. We'll try to get a camera set up on Samantha's spot, and then we'll be able to bring her on as well. So not that she's a guest, but I absolutely do plan to have guests and topics and Q&As and I'd like to really work on this. I actually feel like there's a good time right now to be a mushroom YouTuber. There's a lot of interest, and for some reason, a lot of the big guys are out. So let's see. Yeah, for the shipping, absolutely. I'm happy to go live with you to talk about the UK mycology scene. That would actually be really interesting. And you apparently are on just fine with the hours. So, yeah, we might be able to work something out with that. I mean, I'd love to be able to play around with a bunch of people. The only reason why I reached out to Aaron Hilliard. Hey, Collier. Aaron Hilliard of Mushroom Wonderland after I brought it up with you a couple months back, and he would love to come on and talk about bioprocessing. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, we should do that. I need to actually probably write that back down just so I don't forget. Because I am a forgetful person.
You're less forgetful, more overwhelmed.
What's that, babe?
I would say that you are less forgetful
Well, less forgetful, more overwhelmed.
Maybe
Well,
being overwhelmed makes you forgetful.
I think that could certainly be part of it. So, love you, Gene. I believe that you have a tattoo from. I do, right here. I guess the camera's over here now. Ah, there we go. That is the morel on her book, um, on one of her books. So let's see. Micro Nerd says Gary would be awesome. Mushroom Mesa Mike would be cool too. Spore and Sprout as well, and of course Ed Grant again. Yeah, I don't know. So I've talked to Mike Crabtree years ago on Facebook, and I haven't been on there much, but you could probably talk to Mike, Gary. Spore and Sprout would be a good one. I don't know if we've ever talked. We may have. Again, I say forgetful. Samantha says overwhelmed, and it's probably true. I probably am just. I talk to so many people. Aaron would love to come on the show if you're still interested in having him. So yeah, we should totally have Aaron on. That'd be super cool. And isn't Mushroom Wonderland? That's a pretty sizable channel, isn't it? Let's see. I was thinking that his channel is pretty big, actually. Yeah, it is. So that'd be neat. Especially since he forages so much. I like the guest and the educational. That's what got us started. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, so we'll do some educational for sure. Since I'll be doing so much, I mean, I may throw together like just some fun stuff. But again, I mean, the Q&As are going to be a large portion of it. I want to make sure that I'm here to answer questions. So I want to make sure that I'm donating some free time for people to get the information. I haven't made the big announcement yet. My live streams always get the information before anybody other than my Patreon. But thank you on the tat. I appreciate it. Also, before I forget, I've been dying to ask. Oh, well, let me finish my thought and then I'll get to that. So, actually, I don't remember what my thought was, so I'll get back to it. Also, before I forget, I've been dying to ask you this, but we haven't been doing the podcast regularly. Your Super Spawn, 50-50 hardwood or softwood pellets with 50% oats hydrated to 40%. Is that based on weight? It's either. I mean, if you can go volumetric, but I do weight. I've done weight on both. So I think that weight's the smarter way to go. So, terrible with math, so I'm not exactly sure how to hydrate to 40%. It's simple. You just take your projected block weight. Yeah, water's the easiest one to do. You go, okay, I want a 10-pound block and I want it hydrated to 40%. And then, of course, the 40% was only for spawn. 60% was for the fruiting blocks. And I've gently nudged my water up since then. So just so you know, it's 50% right about now. So with that, 50% of 10 is 5. So now you got to do 5 pounds of solids for a 10-pound block. You just cut that in half for a 5-pound block. And of course, again, this is the spawn hydration of 50%. So you're talking 2.5 pounds water, 2.5 pounds spawn, your dry weights for the spawn. So that could be 1.25 pounds sawdust, 1.25 pounds oats. Freaking cold. I live in the Southeast USA, and I'm looking for some Ganodermas to make into tinctures. I'm aware that G. sessile and G. suge grow in my area. Any thoughts on these, medicinally speaking? My understanding, so if you're in the Southeast, it's the same, as me. I'm here in East Tennessee. You're going to have a lot of Ganoderma curtsi. I can't remember exactly. But that's kind of the southeastern lucidum. Lucidum being the Chinese reishi that people are familiar with. And I don't think it's terribly common here in the Southeast, if at all. But you you have, excuse me, Kurtzai and Lucidum are incredibly closely related. So it's like, I mean, it's like super minuscule. I mean, like it's not like when you're talking about chimpanzees and humans are related or closely related. And we're like 98.5% related to chimpanzees or something. Reishi, the two Reishi, Lucidum and Kurtzai, are far closer than that related. Like it's basically to the point where they're questioning whether Kurtzai is just a subvariant versus a separate species. So that said, Tsuge you're going to find much more in the mountains. Cecil I don't have a ton of experience with, though I know it's pretty. And the Kurtzai, our Golden Antler Reishi, the RDTN2, that is Kurtzai as far as I know. And it's honestly the fastest growing reishi I've ever used. So that's the one I use for tinctures, in part because it's so fast, but also because it's very stout tasting, which I correlate that bitterness with the compounds that we're looking for. Yeah, absolutely, man. Glad it can help. The super spawn's working out really well for us. It throws a lot of our spawn customers off when the first time they receive it. They're not necessarily familiar with what it is. And I've had people be like, I'm not buying this. This is a kit, or, I'm not going to use this ever again. And then 2 to 3 weeks later, they're like, oh my gosh, I used it. It's amazing. So, like, it worried us at first. And it's because it doesn't look like it's growing in as obvious as the grain spawn does. But it does grow from all those little tiny inoculation points. So it takes you a few days before you see the growth, but it's like when you see the growth, and then it's bam, all of a sudden grown in. So, and for the record, I'm so glad to see you back on doing these lives. I don't know how much I missed them until they went away. I'm sorry for that. Yeah, it's just things have been so hectic. So, I think that's what I was talking about earlier was the changes that are going on. So, I don't really grow fresh mushrooms anymore. And again, I'm going to do a video about it and make an official announcement. But we don't have a functional grow room right now. In fact, for the past little mentorships, I take them to a farm up in Knoxville who's doing all my test grows, and we do all the grow room work at their farm, which is much bigger than mine anyways. Because I went the supply side, they went the farm route. And like I said, they do the test growing for us. So they're like, every time I have a new strain. So I'm heading there tomorrow, and I'm heading off the Golden Oyster for Saratoga, New York, and a couple of others. But we don't have that grow room anymore. We are doing the spawn, LC, agar dishes, and petri dishes. So basically, the genetics side of things. And I figure the most accessible way for people to get my genetics and put them in their grow room is Spawn. So Spawn's our flagship product. Then we have our elixir of mycelial mastery, and that's kind of taken off. And now we've so I just started recently offering that in up to about a pound package, and we're about to go to a 5-pound package for that. But I never thought the elixir would take off the way it did. So that's cool. Then our spore kindler, Dr. Solarian's spore kindler formula, which is our agar premix. The agar premix is taken off. So now we're doing a lot more putting together packages of these premixes. And I get it. I see why people want them, because I designed these by going through tons and tons and tons of studies and finding out like which amino acids do this and this enzymatic pathway, etc. And then design this. Basically, the LC premix is designed just for rapid bulk biomass of lion's mane that has an enzymatic pathway activated in it to start munching on solids as soon as it goes to spawn. And that could be the super spawn or the grain spawn. But it also has certain sugars in it that are supposed to help against, what people call senescence and things like that. So we have that, and then we did the same thing with the spore kindler formula, and then now I'm working on. I've got a trial of a premix that. I probably ought to keep that one on the down low for now. But we're doing a lot more of these nutrition for the mushrooms and the genetics, and that's basically what I've gone on entirely now. So, so we shut the grow room down. We've opened up a much larger incubation space. We took the old studio and just have dismantled it for more incubation. And we've got, like I said, the premixes. So the lab that was over here, that was our production lab, is actually now shut down. We've combined that. You can see our pre-filter up there. So this is our culture lab, which is now just culture and spawn, as it had been before. But now it's got 2 workstations and stuff in it, and then that room over there, which was the production lab, is now our package, like our packing, shipping, and our premix bagging room. So, like I said, I didn't realize that Dr. Slurians would take off the way it did. Yes, Kurt's I meant to mention Natsuge. Do you think that the concentrations of compounds vary more from species to species, or just depends more on genetics, even with the same species things? I think it's both. I think it's absolutely both. But I think that strain to strain, where you're absolutely seeing large differences. You see this in the psilocybin community. You see this in lion's mane strains. You see this in plants. I mean, we can see this with the weed industry, in that they've got the CBD strains, the THC strains, and they've got all of these different ways of breeding for different active compounds. The same stuff happens in the wild, just in a less controlled way. So I think that strain to strain matters far more than people really know. Now, as far as extracts, I don't really know. I think we got a lot of leeway there. So I can understand why your super spawn would throw some people off. Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, like I had one guy thought that I shipped him kits instead. And I was like, oh, man, if you read our spawn page, it goes into this. The bags are a little harder to bust up, that's for sure. And the spawn is actually a little slower for us to grow, just a tad. But when it hits your bulk blocks, it rips. So that's when we went that route. I'm almost done with my grow room build. I'm looking at using you guys as my spawn supplier. Should be ready to order by the end of August. Man, we'll be ready for you. You just let us know. I will say, as far as that goes, with the spawn supply of things, I'm going to go down to like 4 strains because, again, I keep saying I didn't expect this to take off the way it did. I didn't expect, but you guys keep proving to me that you will buy this stuff. So, and in large quantities. So we're going to go down to 4 strains that we're just constantly pumping out. And they'll be some of the best. Like Yeti's Breath I've got coming up. That'll be one of them. Lion's Mane is absolutely going to be one of those strains. We might do a 5th one that's a shiitake, because we're actually getting a lot of requests for shiitake. But the idea will be we'll pump out those 4 in large numbers. They'll probably change seasonally. And then we'll do culture drops for everything else. So right now our culture drops are Mother of Pearl and Yeti's Breath, and I think the Gold Leaf oyster is up for pre-order. And that's the thing, is that they're up for pre-order, with an expected ship date that might have a week earlier or a week later, just depending on how that looks. And so we'll do these culture drops for the diversity, but for the main thing, we'll have like 3 strains of oysters and a strain of lion's mane, and we'll just pump that out like crazy. So, but yeah, man, we'll be ready for you. Also, if you want anything that's different, we do allow subscriptions, and the subscriptions we do whatever you want. It takes if it's something that's in cold storage, obviously it's going to take us a little while to wake that up and get that started for you. But if it's you're making your regular payments, we'll make your regular deliveries, and you won't have to think about it other than making sure the invoice gets paid. But the subscription opens up to whatever you want. And of course, if there's a problem, we'll try to make sure that we have a backup for you. But we've not really been having problems lately. What's up, man? Peptone is still part of the LC premix, right? Is it bone peptone? No, it's bacteriological. Peptone is still a portion of the the elixir. It is not the only additive anymore. But that basic recipe that I gave is still a great recipe. So if people want to make their own, please make your own. If you want to buy what we've done, I'm basically about to start just putting some free samples of it into people's packs just so they can see the difference, because this elixir is good. This LC premix. It's something I've worked really hard on. I grow mostly oyster, thinking of adding AC to preconditioning room for a few of the summer months. But I'm worried since they need so much. Wow. Yeah. But I'm worried since they need so much FAE. Is AC feasible cost-wise? Do other growers do it? Other growers do. I don't see where you're at, New, but the truth of it is that you can slow your air down and get a little bit higher CO2, and your mushrooms can get a little leggy, and that'll make your AC a little more effective. You can look into HRVs, which are expensive. So you got HRVs or crap. What's the other term for it? So you got heat recovery ventilation, and then there's another one that's actually used more commonly in the AC HVAC industry. But the point being that in the summertime, you can absolutely brute force it with it. But what we liked to do is grow with the seasons. So we'd put a couple window ACs in to knock the worst of it off. And then we would slow our airway down and grow stuff that didn't mind slower airflow, like lion's mane. Like we would really crank out lion's mane. Reishi likes heat, so we would oftentimes shut the grow room down for a month. I think the two past years that we've grown, we've shut the grow room down for like a month or two, and then just grown reishi in it, and then traveled while the reishi was growing. That kind of stuff. You can also find genetics that handle heat a lot better. So like mother of pearl, I've grown that at like 96 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeti's breath will do very similar. And so there are certain strains that will handle heat. Are they the prettiest at 96 degrees? No, but they will grow at it. So it's better than nothing. But yeah. I bought the new Thor bag cracker, first one they ever made and sold for 5-pound bags, and I'm loving it. Yeah, it's crazy. Ben has come up with all of this kind of good stuff. Like they need a better social media presence, and they need to be out there. So because that stuff is too good to be sleeping on. The bag shakers, I like the bag shakers because I can shake. I've got 2 of them, and I can shake 2 bags of spawn at the same time per shaker because it's made for the 10 to 12 pound bags. So The bag cracker, I like it a lot, especially for the 12-pound blocks, because it would just, make it a lot easier to shake afterwards. If you're doing liquid culture to bulk, you can use the cracker to crack it open, create a fissure in the block that you can pour the LC into, but it also gets oxygen into the center of that block, which is a problem. Is that a lot of times you've cooked them, they don't have a lot of air in the middle of that block, a lot of oxygen. I've not heard you mention the bag cracker from anywhere yet, but that thing works awesome. Yeah, it's incredible. It's the only thing I don't like is that it runs off an air compressor, whereas the bag shakers run off electric. But that's not really a problem. We just have an extra long hose that we run through the doors here. And eventually I'd like to get air piped through different sections of the operation. And then I won't have to worry about it at all. I can work a subscription into the budget. Yeah, absolutely. Also, with subscriptions, we offer a slight discount on. So with knowing that the order's coming up, it's going to be consistent income, then we knock the price down a little bit, open up our entire library to you, and then, you start making your payments, we start making the deliveries, and it becomes very, very hands-off. Mendoza, Argentina, kind of like California, I think climate-wise. Okay. Yeah. That, excuse me. That's something for sure that the climate, it depends on which part of California, but I'm guessing you mean like Southern California, and it gets quite hot there. So you're probably going to have to do a combination of things. The HRVs are the best that I can think of, but I don't know very many people that manufacture them yet. So you might have to make your own. But they save you so much money because HVAC is such a killer on farms. I mean, it's a real budget killer. Hello, are you adding manganese sulfate monohydrate to your substrate to boost yield? I've trialed it a couple of times. And that may or may not be one of the additives in my premixes. But I have absolutely played with it. There's a good study that came out on that about the nutrition in high CO2 environments. I'd absolutely use the shaker, but I don't really have space where I can screw it down like it needs to be. Yeah, I saw, was it Spore Addict that strapped theirs down to cement blocks? They just put cement blocks down and strapped it to it with the ratchet straps. I was like, man, I thought I was redneck. Man, that's a little tough to blonde. Or is it gray? Oh, no. It's driving me crazy that the light is just like hitting it. But yeah, the shaker is absolutely phenomenal. The only thing that's better is the bagger and the stir plate. The Man of War stir plates, the Thor stir plates, or the Thor farming system stir plates. I cannot begin to tell you that between the new liquid culture premixes that we're using combined with those stir plates, I'm getting better than any aerated results I've ever gotten. It's incredible. My LC is like a thick sludge half the time. So I'm afraid it would just vibrate right off the hell off my table in my lab. It might take off with your whole lab table. The bag shakers now are, I assume you've seen that the rotational ones versus the vibration ones. I feel a tickle in my throat. I'm gonna cough for a second. I'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors.
Introducing the future of mycology, Dr. Silurian's elixir of mycelial mastery. This isn't your average culture mix. It's a revolution in a packet, crafted for the dedicated cultivator seeking unparalleled growth. Experience the visual alchemy of this masterful brew. As you mix 10 grams with 500 milliliters of water, watch the solution transform into a rich, amber spectacle, the hallmark of a nutrient-dense sanctuary for your burgeoning mycelium. This is where vibrant color meets vibrant life, setting our elixir apart from the ordinary clear liquid cultures. Prepare to be captivated. Mix 10 grams of Dr. Silurian's elixir with 500 milliliters of water, add a stir bar for thorough integration, and sterilize the blend at 15 psi for 45 minutes. Once cooled, introduce your favorite culture into this perfectly prepared, nutrient-rich environment. Watch in awe as the elixir works its magic, unveiling a mycelial masterpiece before your eyes. Choose Dr. Silurian's Elixir of Mycelial Mastery for a mycological adventure that's as visually enchanting as it is potent.
Played around with that little AI video. Just seeing what it does when I click that button. I'm still using azomite rock fertilizer with good results in several cultivars. Yeah, I've heard azomite works really well. I have some. I've used it for cordyceps, and it's really good for certain minerals. You said that I've got the bagger, the stir plate, the double stir plate, and the bagger. Honestly, the double stir plate is such a good deal that I don't see any point in even get the singles. It's like what, $60 more for the double. So $1 per plate. it's just like a no-brainer. The doubles are the best. The bagger, I mean, I use daily because we fill the autoclaves every single day and to run the spawn up. And then the stir plates obviously run full throttle. I've got a bunch of them, including the prototypes and the production models. And I just run those constant. So the Mycologeum makes it to where I have a fair amount just continually running. But so I don't know who joined me last time I did this, but you see, I got the new commercial up with the frog. I do. Where did I have a commercial with the frog up? I do have stuff like this.
Sanitize thy blade, or become the meal of mold.
But I haven't finished it. And then this one I made by accident, and I showed it last live stream, but just train floors. Oh, AI sucks so bad sometimes. We have I've got a couple others. Let's see. Hold on, I'm pulling them. There's a couple of new things that I've been toying with. Again, I'm not ready to release most of it. But well, actually, where are my best ones? Oh, check out this one. This one sucks. It really sucks too because I've got a limited amount of crunch time that I can get on the server. So of course it's a Japanese. It won't get off the anime kick for some reason. Thanks, Dreamstones. I appreciate it. I was just showing a couple of the AI clips. People think that AI is easy. It is not if you're trying to get it to do exactly what you want. My 2 pence. That's a funny name. I finally got your King Blue Oyster strains of liquid culture. Can't wait to see them fruit and get some feedback on the shows. Man, that's a good strain. That's a really excellent strain. Any thoughts on using a UV light to sterilize a laminar flow filter work area before working? Absolutely. First thought, make sure you turn it off before you use the flow hood area. You said on one hand, more sterile, on the other, weathering the filter. It's back in the day, there was a guy that did this, and then he worked with the light on the entire time, and then went to the hospital afterwards and lost some of his vision, some of it permanently. As long as you're not doing that, I don't know how it will wear the filter faster for sure. How much faster, though, I don't know. I mean, the UV will definitely do some damage. However, you could just have it focus. I mean, there's not a lot of reason to sterilize your filter face. If you turn it on about 10 to 15 minutes before you work, or you have it run pretty consistently, you're not going to have anything that's going to have something that'll blow off the filter will have blown off the filter face by then. So you don't really need to get the filter face. I just leave mine running constantly, so it's pretty much like positive pressure there. But as far as the work area, you can absolutely have a lamp that faces downwards and have it run. You don't even have to run it that long. I wouldn't have it on forever. You'll just do more damage that way to different things. So what I would do is like 10 to 15 minutes before I begin work, I would turn on the filter, turn on the light, have it just zapping that area for about 5 minutes, and then cutting off maybe on a timer, and calling it that good. But I've got a UV. I don't use it a lot. And I got it primarily to cause mutations rather than actually using it to sterilize. You showed us a preview the other day of the two. I know I'd shown a couple of them. There's more. I work on a few every day, and I have. I mean, they're fun. They're definitely really fun. It's not one that. I think this one was one of my favorites. I think it's definitely not something that's going to be like that you can just drop, not do any work for anymore. Oh, my mic stand literally broke. I'm going to have to hold it. That's all right. We got about 15 minutes. All right, check us out. So that one was one that was probably my favorite one that I've done so far. But it took a lot of prompt writing and having to like store prompts to figure out which one he does and then what they do in combination. Good to know about the filter face, self-cleaning, so to speak. And yeah, safety first. Absolutely, dude. This guy had a horrifying image on Facebook where they were doing saline drips to his eyes. So he's in the hospital with these little lines just dripping water constantly into his eyes. He lost part of his vision. Why he decided to work with that, I've got no idea. He did a big like PSA about it, but his takeaway, I remember, was not so much, oh, I screwed up. It was, you should never use UV or something like that. And it was just like, no, you just need to make sure that you're using things and understanding them as best you can before you use them. You know, I wouldn't take a carcinogenic powder and then start using that with no PPE and no way to protect myself. This is just not something I would do. Same thing with like my premixes was something that I use with those is I always make sure that they're food grade, that they are safe. They're not a strong lung irritant because people are going to be bagging that, that kind of thing. Yeah, danger is in ignorance. That's absolutely the way it goes. That said, it definitely is a balance. I don't. So let's see. I was trying to think of who it was. There was someone I saw that was using AI, and I was just thought, man, this is the absolute worst use of it that I've ever seen. But excuse me, I'm getting a little bit from my cold. But some of it, I think, like if you can use it to add like your raw generative power, and then you add the human element in the editing, the putting together, the designing, that kind of stuff. I think that is a good and appropriate use of it. But I hoard deputat. Hey Andrew, great to see you. Could you tell me a bit about your Venetian oyster strain of oyster mushroom? Is it a pulmonaris hybrid or does it have a different origin? It's pulmonaris. Yeah. It was bred from Lambert's. I can't remember if it's 126 or 124. They have a gold. I think the gold may be 126, but I could have that backwards. So both. So Lambert's 123 is blue. I think the 124 is the pulmonarius. The 126 is the gold. However, it's the Lambert's pulmonarius strain crossed with a wild one. What's up, Mind? Is there any way you can Google the notorious mushroom thread don't be this guy Mycelium supercomputer? Is there any way I can Google that? I don't know. I guess I could Google it. The notorious mushroom thread don't be this guy Mycelium. Why? What do you want me to see? Oh, I harvested and isolated an unknown white rot mycelium when camping a few weeks back. Just put it all into a bag. Many thanks to you for helping me think I should. Yeah, man, absolutely. Good luck. Let me know how it goes. I don't know if you guys watched the Bioprospector series that I've been working on. We've only had 2 episodes come out so far because I hurt myself, but I'm about to be back out there. The perfumed polypore, as I'm calling it, still don't have a good ID on it yet, but it smells so strongly perfumey. And I went, as we were organizing some of the lab this morning, and grabbed a plate, and I just out of curiosity, I was like, well, and I sniffed it. Still has parafilm wrapped around it and everything. It was so strong of flowers. Like, just absolutely wonderfully strong, strong smell of flowers, not strongly smell flowers. What? I'm trying to get it right. I'll never get it right. Talking about mushroom computer technology, right? Oh, I mean, I was talking about AI and stuff, but I'm not actually sure how I can go. I'd have to just type it in, so I'll have to do it after the show. Oh, because I can't just copy and paste here, can I? No. The notorious thrash. Also, my mic stand is falling. Let's see, don't. This guy. Or you want me to the biohack? Don't be this guy, Mycelium Supercure. Oh, is this a thread that you started? See you on there. Yeah, man, I definitely want to know. It's always fun to do blind. What you did was called blind bio prospecting, and it's definitely something used a lot with the coring drills. They'll go to like rotten logs in the woods, pull a core out, go try to sample that and grow it on a plate, and then do DNA ID of it. And that's one of the ways they found out that Hericium is actually a little bit more common than we thought. It's not as rare, but it's far more common in its haploid state than its diploid state. So it was an interesting little thing. Any tips for Massy? Massy what? Yes, 2013 what? Oh, you wrote it in 2013. Damn. I like pulled a muscle. Back when I first started this cold, and every cough is like super excruciating. Are there any tips for maximizing yields on Appalachian Enoki? I mean, it's the same tips, I guess, kind of that would be for everything, just the temperature, the nutrition, that kind of stuff. So I've had really good results with the 65-35 sawdust to whole oats, hydrated to 60%. We found that the Appalachian Enoki seems to do best in the shoulder seasons. The like spring and fall. The summer, you got to have some pretty decent air conditioning because it is warm tolerant for an enoki, but it's still an enoki. And then white enoki seems to do the best in the winter time. So that's really the best that I can tell you. That's the best results I've had. I can't ever say like this is the best way because I've not tried every way, but I can tell you that that's the best that I have had so far. But there are people who have far more experience fruiting it than I do. I'm the strain purveyor, like I said earlier. I don't really have a grow room anymore. We shut our grow room down for more incubation space for spawn. And we now have test growers that grow our test strains for us. It's usually spawn clients. We'll have spawn clients and we send them a bag of spawn. If they're on the test program, there's some paperwork to sign to become one of our testers. But there's some paperwork to sign and then some responsibilities that you have when you test our strains. So one of them is that we have a data sheet. It's very simple. We try to make sure that it's not a bother for you or your employees to take. We don't want to slow you down drastically. And then I need a photo of that data sheet taken and sent to me. Best use of AI I've had so far is that I can load that photo and it helps load it up into my database. Hold on one second. What's that?
So with the lot,
With the lot number, yeah. Yeah, the data sheet with the lot number, the strain, all that stuff, and that basically just tracks when you inoculated it, when it went into your grow room, when the first harvest was, what the weights were across the first and second flushes, and then I need 3 photos, 3 reference photos, and then we just have that stuff sent to us. And we've been having some really good results with that so far. But it means that I have to. It actually means that I'm getting better information than I ever had when I grew it myself. I will. Oh, the other thing, Richard, is that I always liked side fruit and the gnocchi, but Samantha seems to favor the in the bag. So yeah, you like them both.
I like the white in the bag and the gold side fruit.
Okay, so you like the white fruited in the bag and the gold side fruited. Okay, yeah, and I. What's that? They do behave differently, and that's another thing about the spawn world. I mean, the genetics world. You published the paper in 2013. Okay, yeah, man, I'll take a look at it for sure. Thank you for sharing. How is Samantha's book coming along? So it's coming. She is working on it, but it is slower. We've had to put everything. What? She has too much to do. You guys are ordering too much stuff. Actually, I take that back. You're not ordering enough stuff. If we had more orders, we could hire more people, and then Samantha could write her book faster. No, she's been working on it. We were supposed to have it last week, but we got sick, so we had to cancel. But we're supposed to be having an inspection by the Tennessee State Forestry Department. We've got a lot of the Hurricane Helene damage. They've got some people working on different ways of restoring some of the environment, but also to do some oh shoot, what's it called? Myco remediation work. So some of these like pockets of chemicals and things that happen to the river and are left on the bank contaminates soil, things like that. That kind of thing. So the point is, all of that stuff is kept her really busy. She works on it in the evening for fun, but she is not. I don't think she was making like gains big time, and then now she's had to slow down. But I've also stopped almost all experimentation. I've leaned entirely into Spawn as the flagship product, and then getting our logistics and strain tester program and all that stuff going. So we'll be back at it though, and she'll get those books up. Oh, nice. I'll test something. No problem. Excellent. Andrew, I have a reseller's license, no sales tax. Do you accept that, or have a program to set up for tax exempt? So are you wanting to resell my strains or something? Like, are you wanting to be set up to resell? Hold on. Well, I guess, yeah, just kind of expound on that a little bit. Oh, just so. So yeah. Okay, Chris, send me an email. We'll figure it out. I'm sure I can get something figured out. You already shouldn't. What state are you in? Because that don't matter, but Spawn is already considered in like I got mine counted as a same as selling tomato plants or seed stock where you can get an agricultural sales tax exemption. So that might be something to think about. I think Seth from Mushroom Media does that as well for people that are buying pellets and stuff as feedstock for the mushrooms. So it's an agricultural product. All right, everybody. Well, it's been about an hour. Actually, it's been an hour and almost a minute. So, yeah, man. What's up, Northwoods? Oh, okay. I'll give it a couple more minutes. But, yeah, man, all things are going very well. They're going exceedingly well. So, about to go swimming in a little bit for my workout. And swimming in the lake is always a good day. But other than that, yeah, man, business is going good. We're going to be doing the podcast 5 days a week, trialing that out and seeing how that goes. But it'll be roughly 4 o'clock on most days. There'll probably be a couple of days where I do it early afternoon, lunchtime, and just try to have a very consistent set of live streams. Low fidelity for the moment, but I guess they clocked out and they think they can't come in here. But have any of your strains: Rocky Top, King Blue, Pathfinder, Old Rogue, Blue Smoke, Golden, Pink, like Pink Oyster, Venetian Beach. They're amazing. Truly the best I've ever received. Hey, man, thank you so much. Hey, anyone who has dealt with me and has had good results, please go leave me a 5-star review on Google. Yeah, my Google page. I have a guy that received his Hericium liquid culture, and because my liquid culture was darker than everyone else's, decided that it was immediately contaminated. Then tried to he talked to Samantha. She said she would replace it. And then he was basically just like, well, you guys can walk through. You just can't hang out or can't talk in here right for the moment. Anyways, he said that we said we would replace it, but it's going to be dark because the dark's not contaminated. And then he straight up went and left us a 1-star review and then said, hey, I'll remove this review if you give me free product and a refund. And we're like, well, you signed the terms and conditions. No refunds on living product. We'll replace it. But no, I don't want you buying from me anymore because I don't want you trying to bully my wife that way. And he blew up. And then he's tried to get a bunch of people to 1-star dogpile my my Google page. So if you would, I would love a 5-star review. He only got a couple people to do it, thankfully. Good to hear. Been craving a swim after working 12 hours a day, landscaping on lakefront. Yeah, man. I'll either hit the lake. I'm almost tempted to lift weights tonight because it's been weeks. But my heel's still a little stiff. Get down. It's a bad kitty. And I'm afraid that if I'll re-twinge it, and it has taken weeks for my heel to heal. My heel to heal. I would never resell your strains. Well, I appreciate that. Now, I will say we are working on a resellers program. So there is we're working on trying to figure out how to do it as a lease program or as in do they pay a yearly, hey, we're leasing the strain, or a royalty setup. But there are people interested in reselling my strains, and I would like for them to be able to do that if they want. So there are ways to do it. Well, in the state of Washington, I can get a tax-exempt permit, like I have with Seth at MMO. I can buy spawn and I can buy cultures, and since I'm using those to create something new, not reselling. Gotcha. Yeah, absolutely, Dream. Have a good 4th. Happy Independence Day. Reselling the actual culture, reselling the actual spawn, the state says I can get it without having to pay tax sales because of my business license and my tax-exempt status. Roger that. I just don't want to go to Mushroom Media to buy somewhere. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think you should be getting too much sales tax from me already, being agricultural. The customer is always right. Can't make everyone happy, but you try your best. Absolutely. Well, the big thing is, those of you guys who are happy with me, please, 5-star review on my Google page. Those of you who've had a bad time with us, be honest. That said, the customer is always right in matters of taste, is the old saying. All right, guys. It's 1:06. I can feel the coughing coming. So with that, y'all, I'm going to bounce. But you guys have an excellent day. I'm going to... I don't know. I think the swim's coming up. So, you guys, the customer ain't always right, but they do deserve the best. They do deserve the best. Absolutely. But yeah, y'all have a good, 30th? And I'll see you hopefully tomorrow. Enjoy. Keep spawning culture.